Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel where I play Archeage, share things I've learned with you guys. My name's Nerd, and in this week's video we're going to be talking about fishing the safe way. By the safe way, I mean freshwater sport fishing as opposed to saltwater sport fishing. And before we get too far into this video, I want to give a huge thanks to Enmi for helping me out and making this awesome thumbnail, because let's be real, they needed some work. Freshwater sport fishing is actually a pretty good way to make some gold and to skill up when you have lower fishing skill. That's how I skilled up above 10,000 so I can get that second tier rod, and how I made enough gold to build my fishing boat before I went out to do the saltwater fishing. In this video we'll talk about what equipment you need to start freshwater fishing, the pros and cons of freshwater fishing versus saltwater fishing, and go over how much silver per labor you can make at a lower skill level. You don't need a lot of equipment to start freshwater fishing. All you need is a fishing rod, chum, and a rowboat. To be honest, you can actually get away with not having chum or the rowboat. All you need is the fishing rod. I started off with a basic fishing rod, which you can get from either crafting, and the materials are very cheap, or from doing the Blue Salt Brotherhood fishing quest line. The reason that I say that you can get away with not having chum or a boat is because most often you'll see other people that are already at the schools of fish in the freshwater ponds, so someone will already have thrown chum in there. And also, when there are other people there, you can just hop onto one of their boats and fish from their boat, or a lot of times even fish from a nearby shoreline. Oh, and one last thing that I forgot to mention is that you're going to need a sport fishing lure to apply to your fishing rod, which will enable sport fishing for 2 hours. If you do find yourself at a pond where no one else is fishing, you can simply buy chum from a general merchant, as you see here. As far as the pros and cons of freshwater fishing versus saltwater fishing, some of the pros are that there's a much lower barrier of entry. All you need is a basic rod and you can get started freshwater fishing pretty easily. You're not going to have to worry about pirates, and as far as what I've seen on my server and from some of the comments I've received from you guys, it seems like pirating is pretty popular right now. And last, you're always going to be close to a fish stand, so you don't need to worry about traveling a long distance to sell your fish, which is nice if you don't have the fishing boat yet. The only real con that I can think of when it comes to freshwater versus saltwater fishing is that you are going to make less silver per labor, or less gold overall, using all your labor on freshwater fishing. To calculate the silver per labor ratio, I'm going to take in as many factors as I can to be as accurate as possible, including how much labor we start off with, how much labor we accrue over the amount of time it takes to spend our labor, how much gold we start off with, and of course how much gold we end up with. So if you see here, we're starting off with 1,165 gold and 9 silver and 3,148 labor. When we skip way ahead, you'll see that we end up with 1,312 gold and 81 silver, 61 labor remaining, and that it took about an hour and 40 minutes to catch all these fish, based off the fact that there are only 20 minutes left on the sport fishing lure that we applied to the fishing rod. This means that we accrued an extra 200 labor based off the 10 labor every 5 minutes passive in-game rate. So I'll add that 200 labor to the total amount of labor used for our calculation. When you take in all the numbers, you'll see that we ended up with 1,312 gold, 81 silver, started off with 1,165 gold and 9 silver. So you subtract the two, you end up with 147 gold and 72 silver that was made during this fishing trip. That comes out to 14,772 silver. We started off with 3,148 labor and gained 200 during the entire time fishing, so that brings it up to 3,348 labor total, minus the 61 remaining, which brings you down to 3,287 labor that was spent. When you divide the 14,772 silver by the 3,287 labor, you actually come out to 4.49, or roughly 4.5 silver per labor that we earned doing the freshwater fishing. The 4.5 silver per labor that you can gain freshwater fishing is pretty comparable to the coin purses or baobabs that I covered in my last couple of videos, but as I said before, it's significantly less than saltwater fishing. Going out saltwater fishing, I average somewhere between roughly 12 to 15 silver per labor, which is almost 3 times as much as this freshwater fishing, sometimes even more than that. But there's always that added danger of being pirated, and there's also that added time because sailing out and finding schools of fish takes a little bit longer than jumping into a rowboat on a pond. And even though I can make a little bit more silver per labor for less time doing the baobab trees, I do end up having enough time usually to actually burn through all of my labor even on a day when I can't play as much doing the freshwater fishing. So I prefer to do that because I'm making roughly the same amount of gold, but I'm still leveling up my fishing skill. That way whenever I do go out saltwater fishing, I'm able to use a better rod, catch fish faster, get back to port as quickly as possible. So for some final thoughts on freshwater sport fishing, I think it's a fun way of getting some sport fishing in if there are a lot of pirates that are active on your server at the time, or if you're just not looking to deal with the stress of having to evade pirates or look for a fishing school. If you're just barely getting into fishing, it's great to do to skill up and make some gold while you're skilling up. Overall though, I would prefer to do saltwater fishing whenever I get a chance to, whenever there aren't too many pirates out. But it's still a fun way of getting some sport fishing in. As with most proficiency skills in the game, your silver to labor ratio is going to go up as your fishing skill goes up, because the amount of labor that it costs to catch a fish and to sell a fish is going to go down. I wouldn't be surprised if at max fishing you would be able to get 7 to 8 silver per labor, just as I've heard you can with max larceny and opening coin purses. That's all I have for you guys on freshwater sport fishing. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, hit that sub button. If you have anything you want to add, you can hit up that comment section. Let me know if I missed anything or left anything out on freshwater fishing. And also let me know what ideas or what you'd like to see in future videos. All right, have a great day.